It's official, the Huskies are headed to the Orange Bowl. Feeling the squeeze of finals? We'll show you how going back to your childhood can lower your stress. And what's this NIU professor getting all jacked up about? We'll explain. NTC News Tonight starts now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
And it was at number 15.
NIU football fans are more pumped than ever today. The Huskies are headed to Miami for the coveted Orange Bowl. Good evening, I'm Mike Lewis. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Fiorella Cola. Husky fans are getting ready for the Orange Bowl. Ticket sales started this morning at the Convocation Center with over 100 people lined up outside to buy their tickets. Tickets for the game are free for NIU students, but the prices for non-students range from $75 to $225. The NIU Tickets office has 17,000 tickets available, and game tickets are free with an NIU One card. Husky fans are excited for this game.
Getting their face across, basically a national televised event, and it's going to just bring more attention to the program here.
So even if you can get tickets for the game itself, you might be wondering what the price tag would be just to get to the Orange Bowl.
We did some checking. A nonstop flight to Miami will cost you as much as $1,100 round trip. If you are willing to switch planes along the way, you can get a ticket for about $600. But you're going to need a ride to the airport first. That will be about $100 with the tip. And once you're in Miami, add another $50 for a taxi to Sun Life Stadium where the game is being played. And what about a hotel? We found rooms for as little as $100 a night, but if you want to stay at the team's hotel in Miami Beach, expect to pay $260 a night. That's if you can get a room there. Add it all up, and a 3-day package will set you back nearly $2,200. You can save a bundle if you want to drive instead of flying. It will take you about 22 hours to get there and about $330 to fill up the gas tank round trip. Of course, none of that includes any meals.
NTC's Eli Gain will join us later with sports that tell us a lot more about NIU's Orange Bowl run.
Now, this excitement can be distracting, especially with finals right upon us. NIU's Health Enhancement is starting their Stress-Free Zones program today. These stress-free zones run from Monday through Thursday in the Division's Lounge of the Home Student Center from 11 to 3 p.m. Now, the activities are geared around childhood activities like board games, Play-Doh, and even coloring. These activities are designed to lower stress during finals, a time when many students struggle with anxiety. Later on the show, we will be speaking with the Health Enhancement Assistant Director, Alicia Chakowski, to tell us more about how these activities help lower your stress. Well, stress over the final is one thing, but one community has much bigger concerns.
The Evergreen Village of Sycamore will be relocated if the state approves the grant needed to buy out the park.
Over the years, Evergreen Village Park has been flooded out more than once because of severe storms. The problem, they are living on a floodplain. Though it is safer for residents to move, that doesn't mean they want to.
I'm old. I don't like to move. Nobody does. Yeah, I want to lift a whole house full of stuff in my old age and carry it someplace else. Sure. And start over again. No.
Frank and about 400 other residents will have to leave their homes and hope that they will find a place just as nice and affordable. The Director of Planning and Zoning gives an idea of what the plan will consist of once funding is approved.
Financial relocation assistance is part of the project. It's required by the state and federal laws.
Some residents do not have jobs and worry about how they will maintain living expenses.
There isn't anywhere we can go. If they built another park and relocated us, that would be nice. That's not likely to happen.
Not only will it be an issue financially, but it can also cause problems for children and their schooling.
They move us to a different area where it's going to be out of the town. We have to move our kids to a different school. Okay. And they're going to hurt our kids a lot.
Once the state approves the plan, the county and residents will meet to discuss where they will go from there. Until then, things are at a standstill. In Sycamore, I'm Candace Beasley, NTC News.
Thanks, Candace. We will continue following the tough situation for the people of this community. The DeKalb County Clerk's Office has begun serving citizens 7 days a week. The new hours went into effect over the weekend. From 9 a.m. to noon, customers will be able to process requests for vital records such as birth, death, marriage certificates, as well as other services. For more information, you can visit www.dekalbclerk.com or you can contact 815-895-7149.
Now let's turn from Sycamore to the DeKalb community. One local business aims to strengthen the black community in DeKalb.
NTC reporter Lauren Scott has more on how one woman is creating a safe haven for young African Americans in DeKalb.
Here in downtown DeKalb, a small business owner is trying to make a huge difference. The Hospital is a community center that does everything from offering after-school tutoring to shuttle services for pregnant and elderly members. Yolanda Carvers is the founder of the Hospital Community Center and runs the business herself with the help of a few volunteers. Yolanda realizes that the Hospital is a risky investment, but feels it is something that she was called to do.
A little goes a long way. So if you're determined and that's what you're called to do, nothing is going to stop it.
Outside of offering recreational services, Yolanda hopes the Hospital can offer change to a growing problem in the community.
Just last week, an NIU student was jumped and robbed right here on this pathway leading from the VCB bookstore to the University Plaza by 3 black students, according to the NIU police. Yolanda hopes that the Hospital will stop the growing crime problem by getting children off the streets and getting them into positive activities.
The Hospital has a strong emphasis on helping DeKalb's black community.
This aligns with what I'm supposed to be doing, not what I see on TV, not what they're pushing out what I should be doing or what I should look like, but I should look like that young man over there holding the door for, his sister or for this young lady. That's, that feels right to me. So that's the image we want to put out there.
Children of all ages come in daily for food and group activities. The Hospital provides a calm environment, which is a welcome change for many children.
It's a better place than at home because my sister is always whining. My brother is always trying to get me off task with my homework.
Through helping children like Terrence, Yolanda feels like she's making a difference and will continue to strive towards her goal of bettering DeKalb's community.
Thanks, Lauren. Yolanda has teamed up with several other businesses in DeKalb that offer a discount if you use the Hospital's services.
Now what's going on in Illinois? The Prairie State is having a hard time living up to its name.
Kristen Vandenbroek is here to explain how volunteers throughout the state line are lending a hand to help preserve our prairie lands.
The state of Illinois was once covered in endless fields of native prairie grasses. Over time, those fields have diminished to almost nothing, and it's looking almost impossible to ever return to those days of vast rolling fields. However, there is still a small shred of hope to keep the prairie lands alive. Local volunteers gathered in Afton Park, just south of Peace Road, to dedicate their time gathering prairie seeds and replanting them in an effort to preserve as much of the prairie lands as they can.
The standard thought is that about 99.99% of the native prairie is gone. They're just little remnants here and there. Encourage citizen participation by inviting volunteers to come out and help us collect and then later plant seed in our restoration projects.
Not only are they restoring these prairie grasses, but they are also making sure to remove any invasive plant species that have been overtaking the area. Sweet clover is just one of the invasive species seen here that volunteers make sure to get rid of. Although the warm weather has disappeared, volunteers still find enjoyment getting outdoors to help towards the cause.
Well, I love coming to the natural areas, and I really do take advantage of the DeKalb Forest Preserve District, and so it's a way to contribute and give that back to the community.
While efforts have been made to restore the prairie grasslands, it may take several decades before they get close to once looking like they did before. In the meantime, people can enjoy the life they put back into Mother Nature. Christine Vandenbroek reporting for NTC News in DeKalb.
Thanks, Christine. Local volunteers are helping collect prairie seeds in an effort to restore our diminishing prairie lands.
You know, Mike, with great reason, there's been a lot of football frenzy today, but we also need to notice that it's December 3rd, and students are outside wearing shorts.
I know, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? Eddie Wildermuth is here with us with the weather. Eddie, can you tell us what's going on with the temperatures?
Well, today we actually broke records with the weather. Today was the warmest day in December in all of history in DeKalb, breaking a record that was set back in 1920 on this very day. We'll talk about that more in a bit. Let's actually take a look at that outlook for tomorrow, as we'll expect sunny skies across the area. 57 in Peoria, 55 in Moline, 53 in DeKalb and Rockford, and 56 in Chicago. Stick with us. This is NTC News Tonight. Clear skies. That'll do it for the weather. Let's send it back to Mike and Fiorella at the news desk.
Thanks, Eddie. Well, as we mentioned before, NIU Health Enhancement starts their Stress-Free Zones program today.
Health Enhancement's Assistant Director Alicia Chakowski is here with us to tell us more about how the program aims to lower stress around this time of year. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
So first off, it's pretty well known that finals is pretty stressful. So what are some of the factors that kind of add to the stress level?
Issues like thinking about finances at this time of year. This is a holiday season for many folks. They may be looking to buy presents for family and friends, on top of paying for school and other things for themselves. The stress of going home. Suddenly going from living independently to now you're back maybe living with mom and dad, living with whoever your guardian is, back with their rules. Those are types of things that are starting to creep into students' minds, and they're starting to get stressed about it.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, a lot of these activities reminisce childhood activities. So why childhood games?
They're fun. They make students think about their past when maybe they weren't quite as stressed out. Games like the Game of Life, Candyland, playing with Play-Doh, coloring pictures like Care Bears or Disney characters. It's taking them back to a time and a place where they didn't have as much stress, and it's just a way for them to do an activity, use their hands, use their brains in something that isn't taking as much thought and as much stress.
So you provide healthy snacks, in these areas. So how important is it to keep a healthy diet, around finals time?
Incredibly important. Students have a tendency to either get so wrapped up in studying and doing projects that they just don't eat. Or they do things like have 5-hour energy, use other types of high caffeinated beverages. Things like that, not as healthy for a student. By having snacks, granola bars, fruit snacks, raisins, having fruit with them, maybe keeping some vegetable, cut up carrot sticks, celery sticks with them while they're studying. Keeping themselves energized, it's going to help them along, help them to continue studying and working on their projects.
Well, it sounds like a helpful program for the students. Thank you so much for being with us today, Alicia.
Thank you so much.
Now, moving from emotional health to physical health. If counting calories and watching your weight isn't your thing, McDonald's may be doing it for you. NTC reporter Kiara Herring has more.
Hi, can I get 2 small fries? A McDouble with no onions.
It's Friday, and once again Jackie Evans is ordering her after-class quick meal from the dollar menu. By the end of the year, restaurants are required by law to show the calorie count, and locations like this McDonald's are already ahead of the game. But the calorie count doesn't make people as health conscious as you'd think.
It hasn't really necessarily scared customers away, meaning that they're able to see the information, so they're not coming. They found that consumers, when they do come to these restaurants, they still get exactly what they came to get.
What a lot of students don't realize are the actual amount of calories they're putting into their bodies. So let's take my personal favorite, the McDonald's French fry. Each serving, especially the small ones, come in about 280 calories. Most people don't know. The dollar menu can be just a little too tempting for students' taste buds and pockets. Senior English major Jackie Evans says sometimes it's more about how much it costs than how healthy it may be.
Not really. If I was trying to eat healthy, I guess I could order like a salad or something, but that's not, it kind of defeats the purpose of dollar menu.
But Jackie isn't the only student who overlooks the nutritional facts. Only about 9% of consumers make choices based on nutrition, but consumers may be eating a little healthier than they think.
Because they've had to post these nutrition facts, it has greatly influenced the menu itself.
This means changes to the ingredients and portion sizes to make the calorie count more appealing to customers. And although these healthier options are always available, it's up for the students to choose. For NTC News, I'm Kiara Herring.
For help and information on managing your eating habits, schedule an appointment in the Office of Nutrition and Wellness located in the NIU Rec Center.
A professor here at NIU not only teaches law, but is also an inventor. After 4 years of working with a former NIU law student, the invention is now patented.
NTC reporter Candace Beasley tells us about the professor and this mysterious invention.
You've lifted the car to the proper height.
Here is a YouTube clip of a man demonstrating how to use a jack stand. He's not just any man though. His name is John Walton, a law professor here at NIU and the inventor of this stand called the Jack Point Jack Stand.
That was actually the idea for the invention, is what you need is a jack stand that you could use to lift the car with a jack. Put the jack stand in the same place where the jack is sitting, lower the car and remove the jack.
Walton came up with the idea in his sleep after talking with a friend who said no such thing exists. After a 4-year process, the Jack Point Jack Stand is now patented and not for personal reasons.
I thought of it as an academic exercise. I teach intellectual property and I was curious about the patent process and knowing more about it, and so I thought, well, this is one way I can get more familiar with the process and actually go through the process and see how it works.
I went to National Tire and Battery Auto in Sycamore to speak with a mechanic to understand the difference between a regular jack stand and Walton's jack stand. He also gave me his opinion about the stand and if it's helpful.
But it's a good idea, good concept, so you can get that jack out of your way, so it's not, there's been times you jack something up, you want to put it in a certain area and the jack's in the way, so it is a good idea.
Since the Jack Point Jack Stand is helpful, the next question is, will Walton be selling it, or has he got any offers?
I hadn't really planned on becoming a jack stand manufacturer. On the other hand, at this point the concept is novel enough that some of the companies look at it and they say, gee, I guess the short of that is no, nobody's offered me $1 million for my idea yet.
Though no offers have been made yet, time will tell if his idea will help millions. In DeKalb, I'm Candace Beasley, NTC News.
A massive section of concrete crushes cars in the Tokyo tunnel.
And President Obama warned Syria not to cross the line. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
9 bodies have been pulled from vehicles crushed in a tunnel collapse about an hour west of Tokyo. 8 of the victims were burned to death. A football field-sized section of the tunnel's concrete ceiling panels collapsed onto cars. The tunnel had passed a safety inspection just 2 months ago. Japan has ordered emergency inspections of all other tunnels across the country.
President Obama says that Syria would be crossing a red line if it uses chemical weapons in its civil war. And Secretary of State Hillary Clinton warned Syria today not to test the U.S. response. Meanwhile, witnesses say Syrian warplanes bombed a town within sight of the Turkish border. It's the latest in a series of airstrikes across the country. A rebel group says 36 people died today in fighting nationwide.
In the Oakland, California area, flood waters undercut a section of a road, washing it away and snapping off a water service line and a sewage line. Days of heavy rain have left the Napa River swollen in some places. The entire San Francisco Bay Area has been under flash flood and mudslide warnings.
2 people are dead after a double-decker bus carrying a church group crashed at Miami International Airport over the weekend. At least 3 were critically hurt. The driver apparently took a wrong turn at the airport and hit a concrete overpass in the arrivals area. The passengers were all senior citizens. There were several overhead signs warning of low clearance for vehicles. And that's today's World Watch.
That's all with NTC Sports. Let's toss it back.
Thanks, Eli. Well, most of us might be too young to know this song, but we'll show you how this NIU student turned this classic into a full-blown obsession. The classic comic strip turned TV show Peanuts is a longtime favorite in American culture with millions of fans worldwide. Thing is, these fans are usually of an older generation. Now check out this NIU student's true devotion to the famous comic strip.
I was about 6 years old, and my mom sat me down, and I was watching TV with my mom, of course, and a Peanut special came on. I'm not sure if it was a Christmas special or a Halloween special, but I just stayed there and I watched the special, and after that it was like, you know, it just something came over me with them, and I just stuck with those guys. I think my first item is kind of crazy because back in the early 80s, they used to have these Dolly Madison cakes and pies and stuff, and they had like the Charlie Brown symbols on them, and I used to buy like the pies all the time. Of course, I ate the pies, of course, as you can see, but I used to keep the papers and stuff, and I just used to look at the papers and stuff like that. So that would be some of the first stuff that I started collecting. My favorite character is Charlie Brown because if you're familiar with the character, he's a kid. He has like 3 strands of hair on his head, so he's already an outcast, and everyone puts him down all the time, but no matter how bad people talk about him, he still does what he feels is right, even if it's wrong or is right. And I like that in him because he does that.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown!
My favorite episode would have to be the Christmas one. That's classic, can't beat that. I just be out, I find them, like if I see something that catches my eye, I try to buy it, and I have a lot of friends that know that I like the Peanuts, so if they see something and they think that I don't have it, they'll pick it up and stuff for me. So I have a lot of friends that buy me a lot of stuff. Probably out of my own pocket, I'll say probably $2,000, probably more. Oh, all the time. Look at me, big black guy. You know, I like little white kids. Come on, like yeah. I get a lot of reactions with that. When I sign my checks, people look at my checks and then they look at me and then they ask to see the ID because they like, I don't believe this big black guy has Snoopy checks and stuff. So yeah, I get a lot of reactions, crazy reactions. I have people come over and they look around and they ask me all kinds of stuff like, are you into kids and stuff like that. So. I probably seen someone that was on, I think it was Facebook a long time ago, and they had a collection, but it was like a crazy collection, but I never like talked to them. I just seen her pics and stuff like that, but I probably had to be the only one I seen.
That was Glenn Swanigan, and he works at the NIU Campus Recreation Center, and he is a true fan.
No, he really is, and that actually was done by videographer Jeremy Dunk. Great job, I must say. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back this same time on Wednesday. Thanks for watching.
Goodbye, everyone.